Everything in the universe is hungry. The first stars were hungry for hydrogen, collapsing under their own weight to forge the heavier elements that make up your bones and your smartphone. The first single-celled organisms were hungry for chemicals, drifting through a lonely prehistoric ocean. For 4 billion years, life on Earth has been defined by a single, desperate mission: find energy before you run out of time. For 99.9% of human history, hunger was our constant companion. It was the whip that drove us to invent tools, to migrate across continents, and to build civilizations. Our bodies became masterpieces of energy management, capable of storing calories in intricate fat cells like tiny, biological batteries to be used during the long, cold, lean times. But then, in the blink of an evolutionary eye, everything changed. In the last century, we did something no other species has ever done. We solved hunger. We turned the world into a 24-hour buffet of hyper-processed, high-calorie abundance. But there's a problem. Our bodies are still running on the ancient software of our ancestors. We are high-tech machines built for scarcity, suddenly trapped in a world of infinite snacks. By eating all the time, we've accidentally disabled a fundamental part of our biology. We've left the lights on for too long, and the machinery is starting to overheat. Life is a series of timers. There's a timer on your microwave, counting down to a mediocre burrito. There's the timer of your biological clock, ticking away the decades. And then, there's the most important timer you've never seen, the one inside your cells that decides whether you should be building new things or burning old ones. To your cells, there are only 2 states of existence: growth and repair. When we eat, we send a chemical signal to our body to grow. We build muscle, we store fat, and we create new life. This is great, but growth has a dark side. When cells grow constantly, they accumulate junk. Broken proteins pile up in the corners. Damaged mitochondria, the power plants of your cells, start leaking toxic byproducts. In nature, the repair cycle is triggered by the absence of food. It's a metabolic survival suite that only activates when the lights go out. Today, we call this fasting. But to your cells, it's not a diet trend. It's the moment the cleanup crew finally gets to work. But not all breaks are created equal. If you stop eating for 16 hours, your body does something remarkable. If you stop for 23 hours, it enters a completely different stage of biological reality. What actually happens inside you when you flip the switch? Is more always better? Or are we accidentally redlining our internal engines? To understand the answer, we have to look at the most powerful hormone you probably take for granted: insulin. Imagine your body is a giant high-tech warehouse. Every time you eat a piece of toast or a bowl of pasta, trucks full of glucose, sugar, arrive at the loading docks. To handle this delivery, your pancreas releases a fleet of workers called insulin. Insulin's job is simple: open the doors of your cells and usher the sugar inside to be used for energy. But your cells are small, and the trucks are many. Any sugar that's not used immediately gets sent to the basement to be packed away as glycogen. And once the basement is full, insulin begins a long-term project of converting that sugar into fat. Here's the catch. As long as insulin is on the floor, the warehouse is in storage mode. Under no circumstances is anyone allowed to take things out of the basement. Fat burning is effectively illegal as long as insulin levels are high. When you finish your last meal of the day, the insulin workers eventually finish their shift and go home. Only then does the fat-burning crew arrive. They look at the empty loading docks and realize they need to find energy elsewhere. First, they hit the liver's glycogen stores. This is like your body's easy access checking account. It's convenient, but limited. Most people carry about 12 to 14 hours worth of sugar in their liver. When that runs out, your body reaches a crossroads. It can either start breaking down its own walls for energy, which would be bad, or it can flip the metabolic switch. This brings us to the most popular rhythm in the world of fasting: 16-8. You fast for 16 hours and eat during an 8-hour window. By the time you hit your 12-hour mark, your liver is starting to run dry. By hour 14, the checking account is nearly empty. Your body realizes that no more trucks are coming. It needs a new currency. The liver begins a process called ketogenesis. It takes the fat stored in your midsection or your thighs and breaks it down into small, energy-dense molecules called ketones. Ketones are a premium fuel. While most of your body's happy to run on sugar, your brain actually prefers ketones. They burn cleaner, producing fewer exhaust fumes, known as reactive oxygen species, than sugar does. This is why many people report a strange, crystalline clarity around the 16-hour mark. It's not a placebo. It's your brain switching from a low-grade coal to high-octane rocket fuel. But 16-8 is more than just a fat-burning trick. It's a biological rest period. By giving your digestive system a 16-hour break, you're allowing your gut lining to repair itself. You're giving your insulin receptors a chance to reset, making them more sensitive. This means the next time you eat, you'll need less insulin to get the job done. In the world of 16-8, your body is like a well-managed shop. It spends part of the day taking in stock and the other part cleaning the floors and organizing the back room. It is sustainable, rhythmic, and fits with the social fabric of human life. You can still have lunch with a friend. You can still have dinner with your family. But some people want more. They want to see how far the rabbit hole goes. They want to move from cleaning the shop to renovating the entire building. This leads us to the 23-1 protocol, or 1 meal a day, OMAD. If 16-8 is a gentle breeze, OMAD is a metabolic hurricane. When you extend your fast to 23 hours, you're not just dipping your toes into the fat-burning pool. You're diving into the deep end. By hour 20, your ketone levels are significantly higher. Your body's now almost entirely reliant on its own stored energy. This is where a process called autophagy reaches its peak. Autophagy comes from the Greek words for self-eating. It sounds terrifying, but it's the most sophisticated recycling program in the known universe. Your cells begin to look for broken proteins, damaged mitochondria, and old, senescent cells that are just taking up space. It breaks them down and turns the scrap metal into shiny new components. On OMAD, your body's undergoing a deep cellular renovation. Growth hormone levels spike to protect your muscles from being broken down. Your brain produces more BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which is essentially miracle-grow for your neurons. But there's a price to pay for this intensity. Evolutionarily, a 23-hour fast was a sign of a crisis. It meant the hunt failed. It meant the bushes were empty. To keep you alive, your body pumps out adrenaline and cortisol to give you the hunter's edge. You feel alert, yes, but you're also under physiological stress. The real problem, however, happens at the 23rd hour. Imagine that warehouse again. It's been empty for nearly a full day. The workers are gone, the lights are low, and the system is calibrated for extreme efficiency. Suddenly, the doors fly open and 2,000 calories of food arrive all at once. The result is a hormonal earthquake. Your pancreas, which was essentially asleep, has to suddenly dump a massive, panicked amount of insulin into your blood to handle the sudden surge. For some, this insulin spike can lead to a massive energy crash, or food coma, that lasts for hours. While 16-8 is a rhythm, OMAD is a shock. And for some people, the shock is too much. We like to think that if a little is good, a lot must be better. But biology doesn't work in straight lines. It works in U-shaped curves. For many, OMAD can lead to something called metabolic whiplash. When you eat all your calories in 1 hour, your body might not be able to absorb all the nutrients efficiently. Your gut can become overwhelmed, leading to bloating and distress. Furthermore, because OMAD is so difficult to maintain, it often triggers a psychological binge and restrict cycle. You spend 23 hours dreaming of food, and when the window's open, you eat anything in sight, often processed foods that provide a quick dopamine hit your stressed brain is craving. Instead of becoming a Zen master of your metabolism, you become a prisoner of the clock. There's also the social tax. Humans are social primates. Almost every culture on Earth is built around a shared meal. When you commit to OMAD, you often find yourself sitting at dinner parties with an empty plate, explaining your cortisol levels to your concerned grandmother. This stress, the social isolation, and the pressure to get it right can actually negate many of the benefits of the fast itself. Stress, after all, raises blood sugar even if you're not eating. There is another layer to this. By constantly manipulating our feeding windows, we are essentially trying to hack a system that was never meant to be hacked. We are the first generation of humans that has had to consciously decide not to eat. In the wild, your ancestors did not fast because they wanted to trigger autophagy. They fasted because they had to. Their biology was forged in the fires of necessity. When we try to simulate these states in a world of high-stress jobs and glowing screens, the signals can get crossed. If you're already stressed from your job, your lack of sleep, and your upcoming rent payment, adding a 23-hour fast is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Your body does not distinguish between a looming work deadline and a pack of wolves. Both trigger the same stress response, By forcing yourself into extreme states, you might be telling your body that you're living in a permanent disaster zone. This is why the most important part of any fast is not the fast itself, but the recovery. How you break the fast determines whether your body sees the experience as a healthy challenge or a traumatic event. If you break it with care, you flourish. If you break it with chaos, you pay the price. So, who wins? The 16-hour moderate or the 23-hour extremist? The answer is frustrating. It depends on your biological starting point. If you are a beginner who has spent years eating 6 times a day, jumping straight into OMAD is like trying to run a marathon when you've not walked around the block. Your body doesn't have the metabolic machinery to burn fat efficiently yet. You'll feel like a ghost, cold, irritable, and brain-fogged. For these people, 16-8 is the clear winner. It's a metabolic training camp. It teaches your body how to flip the switch without causing a system failure. However, for the metabolically flexible, people who have been fasting for a long time and have a lot of fat to lose, OMAD can be a powerful tool to break through weight loss plateaus or to trigger deep cellular repair. But even then, the science suggests that doing OMAD every single day might be a mistake. Your body is an adaptive machine. If you fast for 23 hours every day, your metabolism may eventually slow down to compensate for the perceived famine. The most sophisticated approach is not a fixed rule. It's metabolic switching. This is the practice of varying your timers. Some days you eat normally. Some days you do 16-8. And perhaps once or twice a week you challenge the system with an OMAD fast. This keeps your body guessing. It prevents the famine response while still allowing for the deep cleaning of autophagy. Fasting is often marketed as a way to control your body. We use words like discipline and willpower. We treat our bodies like disobedient pets that need to be starved into submission. But this is the wrong way to look at it. Your body is not your enemy. It's a biological miracle that has been refined by millions of years of evolution to keep you alive against impossible odds. Fasting is not about denial. It's about communication. When you fast, you're sending a signal to your cells. You're telling them, the trucks have stopped. You can stop building now. You can start repairing. You can recycle the old parts. You can sharpen the mind. Whether you choose 16 hours or 23, the goal is the same: to find the rhythm that makes you feel more alive, not less. We live in an age where we can have anything we want, whenever we want it. But true health might not be found in the more. It might be found in the space between. By occasionally turning off the lights and letting the warehouse go quiet, we are not just losing weight. We are remembering what it means to be a biological creature in a natural world. We are honoring the ancient timers that make life possible. So maybe tonight, try turning the timer on. Not the one on your microwave, but the one inside you. Start small. Listen to the silence of your cells. And when the trucks finally arrive tomorrow, you might find that you appreciate the delivery a little bit more. After all, you've got a lot of building to do. If you enjoyed this deep dive into your own biological warehouse, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. It helps us keep the lights on and the research going. Thanks for watching.